we are all getting old, but when I turn 70 or 80 or 90 years of age, I want people to be working on not just this one molecule, but using the technology to develop more molecules so
Absolutely.
that they're going to help me live longer
Yeah.
and live healthier. If I keep it to myself every single thing, and if I'm the only person working on it, then if I'm gone, then everything stops there. But I want to have everyone working on it so that we all can flourish together. We can all live together for long periods of time, right?
Dr. Patel, welcome to the show. I'm super pumped to have you today. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Now you are I may overstep a boundary here, but I don't think so. You're one of, if not the leading authorities on glutathione in the United States, for at least the United States, right? You mentioned earlier to me that both Tony Robbins and Gary Brecka are your clients, have been for quite a while. You were on Gary's show, which was unbelievable. That's when I got the opportunity to have you on mine. I was so pumped. And you recently wrote a book called The Glutathione Revolution. So let's just dive in and tell me how you got to be so authoritative on this one subject.
Well, first you have to self-claim it because nobody's going to give it to you.
Right.
And then once you say that, hey, I'm the expert on glutathione, I should know my stuff. So then I started doing research and try to figure out what that is. But no, it's not that. Uh, as a pharmacist, you're exposed to so much different chemicals, medical medicines, and when you see that nothing is actually solving any problems, then you go back and say, hey, how does body solve its own problems? Because our own body is one giant pharmacy, one giant chemistry set,
Yeah.
right? And so when you look at our body produces the most abundant molecule produced in human body is glutathione. I said, well, the question then becomes is that, hey, can we get this glutathione inside our body the way the body can use it up? And so that's when my research early on started back in 1999. I said, hey, we got to work on this one. Even though we've been known for glutathione for over 140 plus years, we still have no idea how to get it inside our body.
Right. So for people who, aren't as passionate as you and I about this, what is glutathione? And you mentioned it's produced in the body. I'm assuming you're going to tell me that it diminishes as we start to age, which is super sad, right? But what is it? Why do we need it? What does it do? Like, what are just the main functions so that people can kind of get a real understanding for that?
So most people, it does diminishes as we age, but not all of them. So I just want to make sure that people understand that no, not everybody can level starts dropping as you age.
Oh,
Okay,
good.
so let's start off with what is it first. People have heard about peptides. People have heard about amino acids and what amino acids are the building blocks for all things inside a body. So glutathione is three amino acids coming together in a particular sequence, and that's what glutathione is: glutamine, glycine, and cysteine. So three amino acids, the essential amino acids that comes together in the body. It's one of the simplest form of peptide inside a body, uh, but the simplicity is that's the easy part. It's what it does for you is just absolute miracle. And so it's not a protein; it's just a tripeptide, but it's most abundantly produced in the human body.
Okay. And when produced, because people are probably going to have these these questions like produced where? Is it in our cells? Is there a particular organ that's responsible? How does it really get manufactured?
So it is manufactured in every cells. The concentration of glutathione is the highest in your liver and in your brain because that's where the ultimate use is going to be. And so where it gets used up, it can produce anywhere inside your body, but then it travels and get concentrated into certain organs, certain particular area in your body because that's where that's where it's most needed.
Okay. And so this makes sense. So now that, I've clients and being in this space, you hear of people that have like a fatty liver or liver's
Mhm.
not functioning at its highest level. And if they're part of the longevity community, the physician's probably going to try to get more glutathione inside of them to help protect that liver or to help like kind of rejuvenate and like diminish some of the fattiness.
Absolutely. And liver is one of those only organ inside a body that can actually completely regenerate itself.
Right.
And so, given the right tools, you can literally rebuild your liver out again. It takes some time. It's not an overnight process, of course, but it had a potential of doing there.
Right, that's awesome. So what are some of the key roles? Like, how would one know if they had like a glutathione deficiency, or how would they know if they were
Hmm.
optimized on glutathione, or how can we tell those things?
Well, let me go back to the first question that you asked
Okay.
earlier about does everybody needs glutathione, or does everybody levels drop as you age for glutathione? And so what we have to come back is that, hey, who are we actually? If you're living in some remote part of the on this planet where you have zero stress, and there are places out there with zero stress, you're living your life, you're enjoying life, you don't have any of those modern day conveniences accessible to you, your body can actually produce enough glutathione for the rest of your life. You never have to produce them again. Never take it from outside sources. But if you're like me and you, living in this modern day society where we have accustomed to every single thing, uh, telephones and wireless communications, enjoying the sunlights more than some people more than other, pollutions, chemicals, and things like that, then our glutathione gets used up. And about the age of 30-ish is what we have found out is that your levels, how much your body can produce and what your body's needs are, it's kind of at the pivotal point where the production actually decreases than what your body can what your body's needs are. So there's a slight gap for the very first time, something about the age of 30. If you're otherwise healthy and don't drink alcohol and don't have exposure to a lot of chemicals, you may postpone to about 35 or at the most 40. But for sure, anybody over the age of 40 have diminished glutathione levels,
Okay.
hands down.
Would there
Okay.
be would there be any telltale symptoms or signs?
So that's the next point, right? So the signs and symptoms of glutathione comes from two different things, right? So to understand the signs and symptoms, we have to know what the glutathione actually does inside your body. So actually, glutathione has two properties. What is known for is antioxidant properties. And as an antioxidant, it quenches free radicals inside your body. The free radicals are either oxygen species or nitrogen species. Oxygen is easy to understand because you breathe in oxygen every single day, and even though oxygen is necessary for daily life, uh, excess oxygen can also cause excess ROS species, which is reactive oxygen species, which has to be neutralized by the body. Glutathione helps neutralize those oxygen species. Then there's chemical reactions happens inside your body all the time, and the byproducts of this chemical reaction is also oxygen as well as nitrogen species. Nitrogen is another gas that body produces to stay healthy inside, but then excess nitrogen can also cause nitrogen species that has to be neutralized. So those two things have to be neutralized, and that's what the antioxidant properties comes in for glutathione. And it's considered as the mother of all antioxidants because it's by far the strongest antioxidants that we have. Now that's just one function. The second function, which is critically more important, is what? It helps detoxify because it activates the conjugation pathways inside your liver. And so all the chemicals, all the foods you eat, the exposure to chemicals from environment, those chemicals have to be either neutralized or or somehow bound to something so the body can actually get rid of it. If it does not, it gets stuck into some fat cells or somewhere, some tissues inside your body, then it can linger on for the rest of your life and you never get out of your body. So the glutathione actually helps find those molecules, attach itself to it, make it water soluble. And so either you can pee it out or you can poop it out. Either way, it has to be outside your body. That detoxification pathway activation is a little less known. It's still a lot of things are going on in that arena at this point, but it is critically important for us. So if those two things are not done correctly, what can you expect to see in your body? So that's what the question was, right?
Yeah.
How do we know that, hey, my body needs glutathione? And quite honestly, I don't have a good answer yet. But I do know, starting about the age of 30, first of all, your brain consumes 20% of all oxygen you breathe in. The brain is only 2% in size of the whole of your whole body. The organ, the brain, is only 2% in size, but yet it consumes 20% of all oxygen you breathe in. So the highest amount of oxygen stress you have in your body is in your brain. Creepy forgetfulness,
Yeah,
right? Changes in because the brain controls your whole body,
totally.
right? Vision, nose, hear, uh, so that's what you got to look out for. Say, hey, do I have creepy forgetfulness? You know, suddenly by the age of 30, you think, oh, I'm getting old. Or if it's a girl who just had a baby, oh, it's the mom's blue. It's the first time. So I'm not all there yet,
Yeah.
right? And so we take things for granted, but it's not supposed to be that way.
Yeah.
The
When I
second
hear, oh, sorry, I was just gonna say when I hear you talk, I start thinking inflammation control, like everything you've brought to me, because that's kind of how I think in terms of pathway. It's like if inflammation is present, then there's diseases or some form of breakdown is the next level. So it sounds to me like glutathione is really important for the control of inflammation.
Well, see, that's a secondary step, right? So once you control oxidative stress down, the second part is conjugation detoxification. Now, if that doesn't happen, then all of a sudden you start feeling lethargic and tired. When that happens, the body starts, I said, okay, you know what? If the joints are not working properly, hey, let's inflame it a little bit. So it sends a signal that said, hey, body, I need help over here. If my body's inflamed, it's sending the cells to kind of fight that inflammation. In that, it starts hopefully it repair the joint or the place that's inside your body. So fatigue, inflammation, tiredness, creepy forgetfulness, your body not functioning properly, or early onset of your sugar levels are not rising now, or all of a sudden the alcohol that you drank that your body metabolizes very quickly, all of a sudden now it's affecting you because now in the morning you get up and it's still in your body, it's not got rid of it yet. uh, you cannot drink or eat a lot of foods because your body responds or reacts to it, right? All these things, it starts accumulating as you start aging, right? So there's no one particular disease or one particular condition or one particular
Yeah.
symptoms that you look out for. It's a whole body itself, because oxidative stress and uh, and detoxification. If you just put in your favorite search engine those two terms and say, hey, what happened if a body's if full of toxins inside, or what happened if I have oxidative stress? And oh my God, it scared the shit out of you.
Yeah. Which both everything you just mentioned there is, I mean, you just described the aging process, right? Like
It is.
as we age, like that's what starts to slow down and happen. And so, obviously I love glutathione, so I know the answer, but I'm going to assume glutathione is a powerful, we'll call it, an anti-aging or that type of compound.
Well, I always say that if for anybody who's living who's a centurion, you cannot be 100 plus years old with low glutathione levels. I can guarantee
Wow.
you that part. And so longevity is two part. People always talk about say I don't live forever, but really what they're saying is that I want to live forever with a good health
Quality.
and good mind. It's a quality of life, right? We all
Yeah.
know that part. It's nothing surprising about that one. Glutathione by far, it's the best chance you have to live as long as you're going to live healthy. And
Love it.
that's what I want. It's like
Yeah.
I want to be fully vibrant, you know. If I'm 90 plus years old like my dad was, I'm sorry, until the last day on this planet, he was walking and just enjoying life, and then something happened. He just fell down and broke it, and he's passed away like in 2 days. But the thing is, we celebrate his whole life. Even
Yeah.
today, he's not here with us, and guess what? We don't feel that he's not with us because we see him as enjoying life, and we
Yeah.
still feel like that he's out somewhere in rest of the other parts of the world enjoying life right now. And so that's the memories we want to have for everybody, right?
Totally. I'm thinking like my listeners and my clients, like we have a lot of medical professionals on the show, and everything is like, well, how do I know? How do I track? How do I test? How do I do this? Is there a way that someone, because somebody listening right now is thinking, okay, well, I'm going to go get my blood work done, and it's going to tell me yes or no whether I need glutathione. So, how would someone? Is there a test? Is there a thing? Is there a way that someone would know? Or is it just like you described earlier? We have to start paying attention to the signs and symptoms and how we feel.
So both ways, right? So we can do the blood test. You can measure the red blood cell levels of glutathione, and either you can measure them in micromoles per liter or milligrams per liter. Uh, every lab has their own reference range. Keep in mind, the reference range is what they do is they take an average of 1,000 people
Right.
and see, hey, do you feel normal? Great. What's your glutathione level? That's the normal levels, right?
Yeah.
And so that's how they come up with the reference range, so to speak. There's nothing standard out there. But my reference range is, hey, if you're 20 years old, what's your glutathione level? That's what I want to be. Because at the age
Right.
of 21, more than likely, if you're drinking some alcohol, your levels are already dropping by that time, right? So
Yeah.
if you're otherwise healthy and a 20-year-old, supposedly not drinking alcohol, not exposed to a lot of toxicities, I want those youthful levels, right? If I can get those youthful levels of glutathione back into my system, that's what the best chance is. So yes, you can do a blood test. You can see who you are and what you do, and so you can do either one of them. I've done thousands of blood tests, and I'm telling you right now that I have yet to see somebody over the age of 30 with normal glutathione levels.
Yeah.
They may have like low normal. That means they don't have anything settled yet, right? And there's ways to improve glutathione level without doing supplementation, right? There's diet, there's other things you can do to improve those levels. So you're not stuck to some pill or some shots or some sprays that you do for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
But measuring those levels, optimizing those levels, or being cognizant that your body is depleting glutathione based on our behavior is more than sufficient.
On this show, we talk a lot about like, a healthy weight, the obesity epidemic, being overweight and whatnot. What role does that play in the drop in glutathione levels? Because I mean, I'm assuming we're going to associate a poor diet nutritionally with lower levels, increased alcohol, smoking, all those things are going to diminish levels. So unfortunately, standard American diet right now is not the greatest based on the results that we see. What impact does that have on the drop in glutathione levels?
So sad enough that our normal diet doesn't have all the amino acids that we need, the building blocks that we need to support our body's actual needs are. And so that becomes very, very difficult because if you don't have all the amino acids from your diet, how the body's going to make all the proteins, all the peptides that it needs to survive. And so that's the first thing, right? The diet. The second part is that you're still not going to stop the exposure to the environment, right? The pollution in the environment. Right now, I mean, we're in California, there's smokes out there, there's fires out there right
Right.
now. That is products of combustion. I mean, that 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 air is actually really, really toxic
Yeah.
because everything that we have inside the house style now, most of the houses today have synthetic uh, furniture, synthetic carpet, synthetic drapes, and building materials. Then nothing is natural anymore, and so that when if it gets burned, it is basically the flames have all these products of combustion that your body now have to figure out how to get rid of it. How
Wow.
do I conjugate those chemicals out of my system? And then knowingly, you're going to eat foods that you know that even the bugs won't eat them, right?
Right.
If it doesn't rot outside your body, how the heck do you think the body's going to process inside your body,
Right.
right? And so, if we are in this very very pivotal time, where do I want to go? People have talked about all these diets and hey, I want to change my diets to vegan. I want to change to carnivore. I want to change to whatever the diets are, right? But all it is that, hey, I want to support my body's needs are. And that's what the weight loss comes into play, right? Weight loss is nothing more than the body feeling content with all the things you have. Because if you eat low amino acid foods, low protein diet, or low nutrient dense diet, guess what? The body's going to keep on craving more food because it needs those things.
Right.
Even though you have all the calories you consume, let's say you consume 2,000 calories of junk food, the body still needs those amino acids. It's going to crave more food.
Yeah.
And so obesity is, I want to tackle obesity by, if you eat good nutrient dense foods, guess what? A little bit of food supports all your needs, right? When I say a
Totally.
little bit, it's not a little bit, because you do need a lot of good source of protein, good amino acids to really quench all your body's needs are going to be. So the diet is actually going to be more than what you eat today,
Right.
but it's with nutrient dense foods,
Yeah.
and you're going to lose weight.
Yeah. It's real food versus the processed stuff that
Yeah.
we're just consuming on at a large fast. I told you before we started the call that I've been, chasing glutathione for a really long time based on having a really high like C-reactive protein level, but from the psoriatic arthritis. So I've done everything from, you mentioned if everything is in good order, right? We're consuming beautiful nutrition and we're not drinking alcohol and we have minimization of, environmental toxins. As we all know, those are probably few and far between for people. So the next question people are going to have is like, okay, well, from a supplemental standpoint or
Yep.
from a topical or everything. So for me, I take N-acetylcysteine every single day. I take glutamine every day. So all the components of glutathione I'm taking individually. Plus, I've tried the liposomal glutathiones that supposedly bypass the stomach. Now I've moved on to injectable glutathione, like 1 mil per week, just trying to get my glutathione to a level to help my CRP come down. Give me your philosophies, thoughts, because I'm assuming as the leading expert, you've researched all of these, right? You've researched
Yep.
N-acetylcysteine, the liposomal effect, and now you've have a new technology that is would be considered transdermal, right? Like you can actually
Yep.
get glutathione absorption from. So I'm now fascinated. I'm going to shut up and just listen, and maybe even take some notes myself. So
All
let's just
right.
kind of rock and roll on that type of question.
All right, pharmacy 101. All right,
Here we go.
let's go at it, right? So N-acetylcysteine was the only molecule that has been approved by FDA as a way to improve glutathione levels. All this times, that's the only thing that has been approved. It's even in today's date, we are here in this era, and they're still using the same exact product for the last 40, 50 plus years now. Okay. Has no new product has been approved by FDA, even though FDA has received applications for injectable form of glutathione, but it now got approved by FDA. So NAC works. Okay, you can take the other building blocks, glycine and glutamine, and if you combine all three of them, the body will make the glutathione on its own, and they all work. I would suggest not to take too much of glutamine, because what we are finding out, I'm doing a lot of brain mapping studies right now and finding those things out, that glutamine actually, we have too much, we have excess amount of glutamine inside our brain, and we don't know what the ramifications are. Is this a causation leading to dementia or Parkinson's or ALS or Huntington's? We don't know if there is any correlation between glutamine and any of those diseases, but that we have abundance of glutathione inside your brain, and sometimes that could be a bad thing for us. So if you need glutamine for your gut issues and some other issues,
Yeah.
temporarily, please go for it. But you get enough in your diet, so you don't need to take extra glutamine.
Okay, what about that's a great point. I'm glad you brought that up. So what would be considered excess glutamine? And then let's take somebody who's working out, 5 to 7 days a week extensively. Do you feel like they could still be getting enough glutamine in their system? Or, if you look at any of the recommendations, it's going to say 5 grams of glutamine per day,
I know.
probably
Yeah.
not too much. Is that going to be considered the upper end of the threshold, or do any of those things even matter?
So for most of my athletes, my professional athletes, super elites, Olympians, all of those, if they take glutathione post workout every single day, um, I doubt they might need glutamine a whole lot, because
Okay.
because
If they're taking glutathione.
if they're taking glutathione, yeah.
Okay.
So they might not need glutamine at all. And that's what we are getting at right now, is because uh, high strenuous workout is actually tearing your body apart,
Right.
and then the body needs to heal it back again, right? Before the next day workout starts again. And so every single day, you're breaking apart and you're reattaching your whole body. And that's because of too much oxidative stress that's happening. If I can quench all those free radicals post workout with glutathione, boom, there will be no more breaking down of your gut lining, and if your gut stays completely intact, there's your immunity is completely intact as well. So need for glutamine is going to be less. A gram or less is what I usually recommend. But again, everybody's a little different. So we just have to look at those into more deep, more individually based, right?
Okay.
Second part, you said liposome technology. We'll go over the IV thirst. Let's talk about the liposome technology. So we were the first pharmacy. Actually, I'm a compounding pharmacist by trade. So we did have a pharmacy. So we were hired by one of the local doctors in California because he had the technology for liposome technology for pharmaceuticals. And he was making some medications, FDA approved medications at that time. And so he comes to me and said, "Hey, can you make liposomal nutraceuticals like vitamin C and
Yeah.
CoQ10 and PQQ and all those things?" I said, "Yeah, I can do that part." So let's do that part. And so I asked him, I said, "Why not glutathione?" "Oh no, it's too difficult. Plus it tastes awful. So I don't do that as my first project."
It does taste bad.
Yeah, it does taste bad. So basically we made what he wanted, and on the side, I made what I wanted was a glutathione. And yep, sure enough, he was right. It tastes awful.
Yeah.
But more than that, 2 years later, we found out that the results, I was not getting the results I was expecting to see, because in the literature it promised the world that glutathione can do all these things for your body, but in the practicality, as a pharmacist, I had to predict, if I take this much milligrams, whatever the milligrams is, am I going to get the results, and how fast will I get the results? The results were there, but not on everyone. So there was a missing piece. What was the missing piece? I could not figure out, right? It did not work for everybody. But then I looked at, then I started making intravenous form of glutathione back in early 2000. So I've been making IV glutathione for over 20 years.
Yeah.
Okay. The literature says that if you take intravenous form of glutathione, if you inject into your veins, what happens is that the glutathione, in about 5 to 15 minutes, everything goes into the urine.
Ooh, okay.
Everything. And so I said, okay, I said, that doesn't make sense. I still got some results out of it. So it's not like I didn't get any results.
Yeah.
How was it working? So then I found out is that, hey, even though everything was going to the urine, there was an increase of cysteine in the blood.
Okay.
So the body was breaking down this glutathione, of reabsorbing the cysteine, and cysteine was actually later used in 90 minutes later to make glutathione, and that's the levels will start rising.
Hmm.
So I said, okay, that to me, that doesn't make sense. Why would you give a product that your body has to break it down, absorb what it needs, and make the same product again?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It didn't make sense, right? It
Right.
didn't make sense. And that's why if you look at it, FDA is only approved N-acetylcysteine because cysteine is the only thing that gets absorbed. If you take that one, the body can make its own glutathione,
Have you seen
right?
the same? Have you seen the same on intramuscular injections of glutathione?
It didn't matter, right? If the IV is the best one because it's
Right.
going
It's
straight,
straight. Yeah.
it's going straight up. The IM shots is even far more inferior than the IVs, because people that do IM is they don't want to stick a needle into the veins, and you're hoping that the IM shots is going to get into the bloodstream eventually and do its trick. But guess what? It gets broken down. And yeah, the body may absorb the cysteine out of it and then use that to produce glutathione. So I mean, what I'm trying to say, they all work, but
Yeah.
it doesn't work for everybody. And so the question that comes up is, why doesn't it work for everybody? What's the problem? We had no idea until now, right?
Yeah.
For the last 15 years, what has emerged is this gene mutation testing. Before that, it was there, but it was cost prohibitive.
Right.
Nobody can spend $5,000 to check what your MTHFR or COMT or GSTM or GSTP or GSTT, all these different acronyms that we know today.
Yeah.
It was there, but it was for average people was unaffordable. Now that we are finding those things out, it's such a lot more affordable today. We are finding out that there's a certain subset of people, which is increasing a lot as we started doing more testing. The people need for glutathione is extremely high. If you have MTHFR gene mutation or COMT, your body can produce glutathione, but your needs are so high that your body cannot keep up with the demand, right? If they cannot keep up with the demand, it's going to do what it takes, the best it can with the cysteine that your body consumes, and that's that there you are. So in those patients, even though they're surviving, they're not thriving,
Right.
right? And so, and there's some other patients where they have the enzyme defects that your body cannot conjugate glutathione. Oh my God, those they have no choice. They have no choice but to take a product, glutathione, that actually can do the trick, right?
Right.
And so that was the most difficult piece for us. And so when we started working on a different technology, because liposuction did not work for me. IVs, I know was not working for me, but it was bringing a lot of revenue for me. And
Yeah.
sometimes I need the revenue to do my own research. So all the money I made from selling IV glutathione, I put back into research on my own dime into my pharmacy to develop this newer technology, which in the world there's nobody made this, right? It's called protein enveloping method. We take a peptide and kind of twist it apart, and so it shrinks the size. When it shrinks the size, it can get through your body parts very easily.
Yeah.
So we did that part, and it was actually not new. It was discovered this in 2007,
Okay.
but we never released the product to the open public until I did all my work. So it took me 13 years of research trying to figure out how much to give, how often to give, what am I going to expect to do, see in my clients. And so we started working with a lot of physicians all over the country, trying to figure out that, hey, with this new technology that we have, and let's use this one. I said, oh, no, no, no. We do IVs. We don't need you. But then I found few subset of doctors that believed in my work, and they said, okay, I'll support you. Let's do some work first. Let's figure out what dose to give, how much to give, how often to give. And so we started doing all these different studies, and hence my book came out before my launch of the company, because that's all my work for the last 12 years that I did at the pharmacy on my patients using glutathione topically. And so
Interesting.
for the first time, what we found out is that when we do the topical application, is actually uh, binding to one of the receptors inside your cells and accepting the glutathione as is.
Okay.
And so
That
this
was going
was
to be
a
my question. So it doesn't have to break it down into
doesn't it
the
break it
cysteine.
down?
Okay.
Yeah. So as of right now, we have been approved for 7 patents, worldwide patents on this, the molecule and delivery of the molecule. We have another countless patents that are pending at this point, because as we find out more things, we are putting more applications in and more applications in there, because my attorneys are going at it and say, "Oh my God, this is crazy, how things are going on." So of course they're making a lot of money off of me, because
Sure.
the more
Yeah,
work they do.
absolutely. Yeah.
But the idea behind this thing is that hopefully we get to learn more, right? And so we launched the product in 2020. And as soon as we launched the product in 2020, God was not happy with me because he gave us COVID and the whole world was shut down.
Exactly.
So we just literally about a year and a half ago is when everything officially opened up 100%. And so now we are here talking about this thing, is because for the last year and a half, I've been a very busy person going on everywhere,
Yeah.
educating professionals, physicians, researchers, to look into these things, work with us, and see how we can take this molecule to the next level.
What's the biggest pushback? I mean, having, a vast amount of experience like in the medical world, I mean, I probably can already, see some of the push there. Is it because it's brand new and they're just so used to, the IVs, which like if you go into one of these drip clinics, you can get a glutathione add-on and they'll throw it at you for $100, right? And you just told me now that like I'd be just as good taking some some NAC or maybe some L-cysteine.
Yes,
So that's disappointing from a consumer standpoint. But is it because of the newness of the technology and they just don't understand how the transdermal is actually going to be able to provide the higher levels?
it is. It is, and the literature does not support that. We only done 2 clinical trials. We've done 2 human trials, small scale. It was done at the universities, and so since the trials are not done to the doctor standards yet, so
Right.
we have a lot of early adopters. Right, we have 1,000+ physicians as of right now. They've adopted us and our technology and using it in their patients every single day, and the clients, and recommend to their friends and family. But mass takes time, because people want to see more studies done.
Yeah,
And so everything that I do right now, every resources that I have, I'm putting back into clinical trials and doing more studies to trying to figure out more things, because we are all getting old. But when I turn 70 or 80 or 90 years of age, I want people to be working on not just this one molecule, but
yeah,
using the technology to develop more molecules so
absolutely.
that they're going to help me live longer
Yeah,
and live healthier. If I keep it to myself every single thing, and if I'm the only person working on it, then if I'm gone, then everything stops there. But I want to have everyone working on it so that we all can flourish together. We can all live together for long periods of time, right? And so
absolutely.
that's my ultimate goal. And so I'm doing whatever it takes on my own. We do have few physicians right now that we are working on. We have a doctor from NFL actually that's working with
Cool.
us because, as you know, brain consumes 20% of the oxygen. Concussions and
CTEs and all
TBIs
that. Oh yeah,
and all those things. It's a big deal. And if I can give these athletes one more season to play their favorite sport, one season, that's millions of dollars in their pocket,
100%.
right? But for me, is I would like to see my favorite ball player out there competing still,
Yeah.
even at the age of 39 or 40 years of age, right?
You know,
Uh,
I consulted for the NFL alumni, the retired players for several
ah,
years. And I mean, listen, they need it just as much as the guys who are playing now. You know what I mean? To
they need
help the,
more.
help the brain. I mean, some of them can't walk across the room without assistance or something of that
Yeah.
nature. It's such a violent,
Boxers,
yeah, such a violent
boxers.
sport.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I love what you're doing. So I love all of this. And I mean, you've got a new, so before, I think some people are asking right now, okay, well, doc, do I have to have a prescription for this? Do I have to have, like, where do I have to go? Do I have to drive and see you? Like, so let's help answer some of those questions. First and foremost, I think we should all, if you're interested, go get the book, The Glutathione Revolution. I know it's on your website, which we'll talk about in a second. If they're an Amazon freak, can they go buy it on Amazon as well?
Yep. They
Okay,
can they have we have electronic versions, we have audible versions, we
perfect.
have print versions. I'm a print kind of guy.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's it's everything's available, right? So
love
it's
it.
on Spotify as well right now. You can stream it live, and it's if you're a premium member, it's free. I think so,
Okay.
and things like that. So there's if you want to read this, you can get it any which way, right? So please get one for yourself and read the first six chapters because it's going to, I think it's just going to give you hope that, you know what, thank God somebody's out there working on this molecule and finding solutions for me. And that's what I can give you is just hope, because if there's hope, right, you'll do something today. If there's no
Absolutely.
hope, then you say, there's no hope. Why should I even bother? Right?
Love it.
So
So, so if I'm interested, how do I can I get my hands on this today? I mean,
yes, you can.
okay, talk to me
So
about that.
until 2020, what we were doing was, because we were not sure as to what to do with it, and so we worked with physicians only. Even though it was an over-the-counter product, we never actually officially launched a website. We were only marketing to physicians' offices because we were gathering data, right? So after close to 100,000 people use the product with not a single issue whatsoever, we decided to launch the product. So now you can go to my website and buy the product. It's aurowellness.com. It's AURO wellness.com. If one of the physicians that works with us, a lot of physicians stock them inside their own office, and you can just pick up from your doctors as well. We only distribute through licensed healthcare providers, so nurse practitioners, chiropractors, uh, physicians, MDs, DOs, things like that. They're into this arena. They understand what oxidative stress is and what they're treating with it. So you can buy from them or through my website.
Okay. And so I'm looking at the website right now, as most people are probably as they do this. I see two different versions. Walk me through the differentiation.
So
Listen, I'm a huge fan, Doc. I'm gonna help you sell some of this stuff because I'm gonna as soon as you and I get off this call, I'm placing my own order. So help me order.
so we have two versions because it's just a concentration. All my studies I've done, all the studies I've done is on the regular version of glutaril, not the plus. As you can imagine, the plus is a stronger version, and some of the physicians says that, oh no, my needs are much higher. My customer needs much higher. Can you give me something stronger? And so I made something stronger, but just keep in mind, The regular version is what I did all my studies on.
Okay.
And that's what shows the highest improvement of the levels. And
Okay.
that shows that works the best, right? Now, if you got too much money, don't know what to do with it, you can support a charity or buy an expensive product that may or may not be that much extra beneficial for the money you're going to pay, right?
Okay.
It is going to be beneficial, no doubt about it. But the extra money that you're going to pay, is that much better? Probably not. At the same time, the plus version, there are a lot of people, there are older folks that have too much oxidative stress, and they don't know what to do, and they want to raise the levels high enough and very fast, and so they try the plus for the first few months, maybe 3 months, 6 months, up to a year, depending on what conditions they have and the stress, oxidative stress has led to them, right? uh once they are okay and everything is under control, they all switch over the regular glutaril, and that's what they use for as a maintenance for the rest of their life.
Okay.
And we figured out that the dosage is about 4 sprays twice a day, because the glutathione only stays in the body for about 4 to 6 hours. The IV stays in the body for 15 to 20 minutes. This one stays for about 4 to 6 hours. And so if you use it twice a day at the dose that can get you a high enough levels, then you can use it for the rest of your life and don't have any problems. I want to tell one more thing, because I want
Yeah.
people to understand that part, because glutathione, oxidative stress is a Goldilocks effect. If you have zero stress in your body actually doesn't progress. It 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 digresses. So you got to have a little bit of oxidative stress in your body at all times. So when you say that, hey, I can take more glutathione and reduce the stress completely zero, that's actually not a good idea.
Right.
It's not a good idea, right? So use the recommended doses, 4 sprays twice a day. That's about what your needs are going to be. Don't overdo that part, and you should be okay. The key is, can I go right to the edge but not cross the line? And that's what I had to figure out, right? So that it took me a long time to figure this portion out, because everybody's different, right? I had to make sure that I can give it to a 1 month old baby, I can give it to a 90-year-old person, and what dosage, and how much to apply it, and what to do, and things like that. So uh, if you stay within the recommended dosages, I think you're going to hit the high normal ranges, but you never go overboard.
Love it. Let me ask the two questions that most people are thinking. Is there a specific time of day that's better? And is there a specific area of the body that you should be using the spray on?
So there's two issues with this product. One, it smells like sulfur,
Okay.
and two, uh, the the technology piece that we have, the polysaccharide molecules that we use to create this complex, is a little sticky on your skin.
Okay.
There's two-part issues. And for the last 15 years, I have worked on it and worked on it. And I've made 100 different variations of this product. But I'm telling you right now, the molecule I created in 2007 and the molecule I have today is identical. I couldn't even change one thing in there, not even one thing. So that just tells me that the nature came to perfection, to a point where, as human beings, we're not smart enough to figure out how to change it.
Yeah.
Okay. So this to me, I'm a spiritual person. I'm not, and for me, it's like the divine power has come and given this product to me, and I'm a trustee, and my job is to get to the rest of the world,
Love
right?
it.
So that being said, that I like to apply to the non-hairy part of the body,
Okay.
right? So I usually shave my arms. My arms are shaved because I apply on my arms over here. I apply on my belly. I also shave my belly sometimes too, because I don't want hair, because it's the sticky part. The hair gets stuck to the skin and it's just uncomfortable. It's not going to change any therapy whatsoever, but it's just uncomfortable,
Okay.
right? And so you can apply on your arms, apply on your neck area, chest area, belly, obliques, anywhere. Most of my ladies, my wife included, she'll put it on her face every night, right? Because oxidative stress on your face is the highest. So oxidative stress shows up in your face as spots, right? Sometimes we call it sunspots, liver spots, this dark spots. I mean, we don't know what they are, right?
Right.
The spots pops up, and that's usually oxidative stress. I don't know where it comes from. So they apply on your face, and the spots, the dark spots, starts getting diminishing within 6 to 8 weeks. So they like that part too. So, anyways, apply any non-hairy part of the body.
Love it. This
Yeah.
has been, I mean, I'm super excited because I got a little bit of more education, which I'm always a fan of. And I know that you just gave people just that push that they probably needed to start, because I think a lot of people right now want to know what to do, but it's so confusing in the world of wellness and health and weight loss and longevity and this shot or that shot, or, with all the medications. I think this is something simple that you can do non-invasively that we all need. And there's,
Yeah.
minimal to zero side effects. And so I think it's a win-win for everybody. So thank you for spending the last decade or more of your life, working on this. And thanks for sharing with the audience today.
Absolutely, and you're right. IVs is meant for the elites because it's expensive. You just said it's probably costs you anywhere from 60 to $100 per
Oh, yeah.
shot of glutathione versus $2 per treatment at your own house,
Right.
and literally you get the same results, if not better, over
Right.
time.
Yeah.
Over time. And right now, I want to point one more thing out. Weight loss is a major issue right now at a pharmacy. You have no idea how many calls we get for the shots to reduce weight at this
Oh, I
point.
can only
It is
imagine.
it's just insane. But you got to keep in mind, your fat cells store a lot of products,
Yes.
right? Sugars, toxins. So if you are on the shots to reduce weight, and you're releasing all those fat cells, it's dumping a lot of sugar, which is energizing, sure, so you feel good,
Right.
but it's also dumping a lot of toxins, right? Your liver is actually working really, really hard.
Oh,
Gotta help those liver. Gotta help
perfect.
this liver. So make sure you optimize the glutathione levels from your diet, from supplementations, whatever it takes. Optimize those levels because it will help uh, keep your weight low or help you for the weight loss, not for reducing weight, but help detoxify your body.
Love it.
So,
Well, listen, you made my day because now I don't have to give myself shots once a week anymore. I can just, do a couple sprays. So I'm on cloud nine. So thanks again for coming on the show, Doc. It's been super beneficial. What I'll do is in the show notes, I'll put the book, I'll put the website, all the ways that people can get this. And as you guys know, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me and I will direct you toward the website and get you guys taken care of. So thanks again for coming on the show. We really, really, really appreciated it.
it's my pleasure, and thanks for what you do to spread the word.
You're welcome. I'll see you in a bit.
Thank you.